Kabila ametangaza roadmap. Ameanza juzi kuchoma Nairobi na kuchoma magari. Ameenda mbele, anasema tarehe 20 ati wanaweka mkutano holiday. Wameanza holiday ya kutaka kuchoma Nairobi. Watachoma hii Kenya sisi tukiwa kweli? Maandamano gani inaruhusiwa ya kuchoma mali ya watu? Sasa Sakaja, wewe unapenda sheria. Wewe umekuja hapa. Sisi tunakutuma kwamba Nairobi ibaki salama.
Who should be one right now? It is Johnson Sakaja. When you hear that statement of Farouk, Johnson Sakaja is not a police officer. Johnson Sakaja is nowhere next to the security. This is just a governor of Nairobi County whose work is administrative roles. Now, as we speak today, Farouk is entrusting with the role of ensuring that Nairobi is safe during demonstrations. And the only way they can do that is through guns. And also police not in uniform coming to the streets to shoot Kenyans. Now, as we speak today, when you see Farouk instructing Johnson Sakaja, we cannot take it lightly. Why? This is the direct spokesperson of William Ruto. And this gentleman, majorly, his words are like orders. So therefore, already Sakaja knows that he has a role to play during the demonstrations. Now, what is happening here? If you remember when the demonstrations occurred on 25th June, we had Japhet Koome being sacrificed. First, he was used to ensure that youths have been beaten, some of them killed, and later on he was blamed and actually was meant to resign. Now, when the people were asking for justice, Japhet Koome was sacrificed. As we speak today, DIG was supposed to take up the role. But the fact remains that now the IG is the person remaining. And considering the IG right now, because of the issues that are happening in the country, they could not involve him directly as far as the demonstrations are concerned on doing illegal things. So Johnson Sakaja is going to be involved. On what basis? When he is told that ensure Nairobi is safe, does he have the police officers? No. Can the Kanjo people manage? No. Then what is he going to use? Goons. Recently, when we had demonstrations in Nairobi, we realized that there were goons who were wearing wristwatches that were yellow, and they literally went to burn cars. They were captured on camera standing next to a car and holding some rod. For those people who are in social media, you can be able to attest to that. So that happened, and do you know what ended up happening? Cars were burnt, and the youths were blamed. The demonstrators, the Gen Zs, the people who are demonstrating against the injustice in this country and justice for Albert Ojwang. So they were blamed. That is the same tactic. Actually, at some instance, we even saw some youths coming with some crude weapons going against the demonstrators. So the fact remains that the use of guns is what Farouk is telling Johnson Sakaja to employ in Nairobi on 25th June 2024. So the police, of course, will be there, but the guns will do the dirty work. So eventually, they'll stop the demonstrations. I hope so. Now, as we speak today, if that happens, people might be injured, properties might be destroyed, someone might lose his life, and the police can also even end up getting implicated. And what will happen? The blame will shift to Johnson Sakaja because of the words that were said by Farouk. Why? It will be clear that Farouk sent Johnson Sakaja. Now, that is what has been happening in this country ever since we had the demonstrations since last year, 25th June 2024. Now, on this particular video, I want to highlight on why I feel that Sakaja should relieve himself from these duties given by Farouk. What do I mean by that? Johnson Sakaja, so right now, the mood is that he's going to counter demonstrations in Nairobi. And you know what? People will turn out in large numbers. Now, Johnson Sakaja is expected to be elected as a governor for the second time. So, he will need the support of the Nairobians. He is having so many weaknesses. We all know that. But if Johnson Sakaja allows to come out and defend or maybe work with Farouk instructions, eventually the people of Nairobi are going to hate him more. Why? If you check, in most of the demonstrations, people have been injured. People have been killed. People have been arrested. And goons have been seen in the streets. And now that even we are seeing that the goons were there last time, recently, when we had the small demonstration, the fact remains that we cannot rule out the hand of Sakaja on that. So if Sakaja is going to do more damage by ensuring that he has brought guns in the streets, it will be terrible for him. It will be terrible because the government might also, someone might be shot there by having a police officer. But Sakaja will always be remembered for that. And it is time for Sakaja now to wash his hands, probably, and come up with on a press statement and tell people to demonstrate peacefully. They are allowed to do so. Actually, there's not even demonstration. It's simply assembling, lighting of candles, and remembering the fallen soldiers who died in Nairobi streets. So that is what should be happening. Now, however, I also want to state it here categorically that Sakaja, being instructed by Farouk Bet, it's not something that just come from nowhere. It is as a result of probably a possibility that Sakaja had been engaged before. Simple terms. In that they know what he can do and they can do that again. So they are telling Sakaja, please do it again. That's number one. Number two, they are probably planning to bring him down as a governor in Nairobi. Why? Maybe they have seen he's going to fail and probably now they want to make his image worse and worse and more worse. So that is probably what is going to happen. So Sakaja must be aware. William Ruto is not someone to deal with just like that. Thirdly, as we speak today, ladies and gentlemen, if you also check keenly, the fact is that Raila Amolo Odinga has interest probably to bring someone on board for the Nairobi seat. If he has interest on that, they have to ensure that they have spoiled Sakaja's name completely so that they can bring someone else. And even if it's not Raila Amolo Odinga, if you look at the numbers in Nairobi right now as we speak, even if we go to the tribal calculations, Sakaja does not have the favor if especially Tim Wanyonyi comes for the Gubantero seat. And if the people of Mount Kenya decide that they are going to support someone else other than Sakaja, the fact means that Sakaja has lost the favor of the people of Nairobi. And that means it's not going to be easy for him to get to presidency. And considering, to Gubantero seat, and considering Nairobi, this is where William Ruto wants to be in control, so that Oscar Sudi can continue collecting garbage. Then the fact remains that they want to ensure the person who is bestowed the Gubantero seat of Nairobi, it is someone who is going to be elected and win. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, as we speak today, Johnson Sakaja must be very careful. All these plans might be appearing that they want to stop demonstrations, but the implications on his political future are very dire, very serious ones. So Johnson Sakaja must be very careful from the instructions of Farouk Bet. One, Farouk Bet has not been so good on the instructions that he has been giving. All the instructions as he has given, they have been negatively taken by Kenyans. One of them being him saying that they are going to pass a law in parliament to ensure that the former president does not engage in politics at all. And that is unconstitutional. The freedom of speech is allowed for everyone, both the sitting president, and the incoming ones, and even the former presidents. It is allowed. But Farouk Bet came up with that simply to stop Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, that kind of a move, it actually ignited some conversation within the mountain region. They are targeting President Uhuru Kenyatta. And that is one of the reasons as to why William Ruto is actually going to be voted out overwhelmingly by the people of Mount Kenya. So in a nutshell, Farouk Bet is a careless man, but he doesn't care what happens to you. And Farouk Bet, actually, he has done so many bad things, like even directing the deputy president in front of the cameras. Some have alleged that he has slapped members of parliament. So the type of person in Farouk Bet is not a person to completely listen to and take instructions from him. This is a huge warning to Rigathi Gachagua, to Johnson Sakaja, that if you dare go against the protesters in Nairobi, people take advantage and then people die. That is the end of Sakaja. And at some point in the future, people remember him for that. And the fact is, he might end up in court later on if another administration takes over come 2027. I don't know what's your take, but in the comment section, you can share with me what you think as far as Sakaja is concerned.